Look first at the word principalities. The Greek word translated here principalities is the word archis, which describes things in an order, in a sort of a series, such things as leaders and rulers and magistrates. Satan is the head of this kingdom, and he has a ranking for his organization. It fits into an organized slot. The word archis also indicates that there are various territories for his ranking leaders. The Word of God reveals that these ruling evil spirits, which are subject to Satan himself, are assigned to jurisdictions. Jurisdictions such as nations, cities, organizations, listen to this, even churches, to your homes, and to individuals. I want you to turn to Daniel chapter 10, verses 12 and 13. Daniel chapter 10, verses 12 and 13. Now I want you to get the picture. An angel had been dispatched to Daniel with a vision from God. But a demonic being, whom the angel called the Prince of the Kingdom of Persia, fought with that angel and delayed him for 21 days. That was a ruling demon with jurisdiction over Persia, who evidently had his lieutenants and his sergeants and his troops, legions of demons. Fortunately, the Word of God tells us that a higher ranking and more powerful heavenly angel was dispatched to assist the angel who had been delayed. But the point of that is simply this. There are powerful commanding demons over entire regions, and they command legions of demons. You can be certain that according to the Word of God, there are demons assigned. There is a jurisdiction over Klein. There is a jurisdiction over Cyprus. There is a jurisdiction over Houston. There is a jurisdiction over Harris County. The Word of God emphatically reveals a hierarchy of demonic personalities. Some would be leaders over nations, some over countries, some over cities, some over homes, some over your homes, and some over organizations. Some individual demonic personalities are like snipers, while others are infiltrators. A recent newspaper article regarding the occult pointed out the fact that there are over 500 active covens between the points of Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston, Texas, and that the Tomball area is like the capital for Satanism, witchcraft, demon worship, and the occult. Police reports show that there is a great deal of blood sacrifice and ritual in the Tomball area and in the Klein area. It is a known fact among law enforcement agencies that Satanists and demon worshipers have active recruiters that are working in the high schools and in the elementary schools in North Harris County. Recently, a large evangelical church out in North Houston discovered more than 20 witches were members of their church and actually members of a single active organization, had not only infiltrated the church, but had literally offered a blood sacrifice in one of the rooms. And the purpose of that sacrifice was an offering and to gain satanic power to bring darkness and destruction and division into that church. Satan is attacking the church of God. The Word of God warns of a highly intricate and well-developed hierarchy of demonic personalities whose sole purpose, whose entire purpose, according to John chapter 10, verse 10, is to steal and to kill and to destroy. We are told in James chapter 4, verse 7, to resist. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, to wrestle. And in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4, literally for the church of God and the people of God to pull down strongholds. And yet none of those words fits what is contemporarily going on in the Church of Jesus Christ, where people are sitting back in relaxed, comfortable pews looking for something to entertain them on a Sunday morning for exactly 1 hour. The Word of God uses verbs that are active, that are powerful, and give a sense of urgency to what you and I, if we're born-again Christians, are called to do. How many Christians have remained ignorant and impotent regarding the danger of active, evil personalities against themselves, against their homes, against their families, and against their friends? You will always, according to the Word of God, if you will resist, if you will wrestle, if you will fight, you will always win the victory. But let me assure you that passivity only brings peril. It absolutely astounds me that there are churches and there are born-again Christians who will say, I believe the Word of God. I believe every word that is found in the Bible. And yet Christians are sitting back when the Word of God declares that we are faster and faster approaching the day when Jesus Christ is going to return, and that as his return approaches, there will be more and more signs of demonic wonders and demonic power and demonic activity, and we are told to wage a war. You need to learn more about waging spiritual warfare, because you have active, violent, destructive opposition, and your opposition is intricately organized. Secondly, the enemy blinds the lost and seduces spiritually cold or apathetic Christians. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 3 and 4, look at it, tells us that the gospel is hid to many persons because, it says, quote, the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. This warns of the fearful state of this world system, because many are going to become hardened to the gospel. Let me give you an idea of what that means. We are told that Houston is now the 4th largest city in America. That was just released in our Houston newspaper. We are told that in Houston, 70% of Houston is unchurched. That means 30% of Houston has any tenuous relationship to the church. And the church are those who say, we attend with regularity at least twice a month. That means that your neighbor, the person who's teaching your child, the person who is running your government, the person who is making decisions in your behalf, it is likely that 7 out of every 10 of those persons not only has no tenuous relationship to Jesus Christ, but frankly denies the power of God. That ought to warn you of the fearful state of this world system as this world becomes hardened to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it is the gospel of Jesus Christ which is the only good news and the only hope of mankind. The devil is recognized by Jesus Christ as the prince of this world. Not lawfully, but because in rebellion to God, man submitted to Satan, that trespasser who is seeking strongholds. Let me ask you a question. How many of you would say, oh, I believe there's a God? Let me just see your hands. How many of you would say, well, I'll even go further than that, preacher. I believe in the Word of God. I believe it's all true. Let me see your hand.